Mid-Continent University has laid off all of its faculty and staff, but classes will still be held today. Bill Hughes reports.
After a 3.5-hour trustees meeting last night, interim president Tom Walden said there was no money for payroll and it was his responsibility on his second day on the job to tell the faculty and staff that Tuesday was their last day. He followed that with a statement that some would consider startling, that classes would be in session on Wednesday.
Many of the faculty, almost all of the faculty, and many of the staff are going to show up tomorrow. And so we're going to continue to teach classes. We're going to continue to keep the organization running. And we intend to make it at least through graduation.
Commencement is set for May 10th. Walden said that will be the end of the university as it's currently known, but the trustees are continually trying to find funding, and if they can somehow raise enough, their plan could change.
There's several different avenues we've been investigating. Selling of property in the Paducah area. We are looking for donations. We are looking for a lot of different avenues, such as some state and federal monies.
Churches and organizations will be contributing food to the cafeteria so those in dorms will be able to eat. Trace Creek Baptist Church and others have also promised funding to make sure graduation is held. Students will be able to get their transcripts since many of the office staff will also be volunteering. Walden said the Department of Education is now helping students have every opportunity that can be provided instead of helping audit the school's finances. He said the real heroes are the staff and faculty, volunteering out of true concern and support for the students. I'm Bill Hughes.
A Fulton police officer is still on the job, even though a bondsman reportedly showed up at the department with a warrant for his arrest. Bill Hughes reports.
A Fulton City employee confirmed yesterday that 54-year-old Robert Scott McKnight is still employed in good standing with the police department. Multiple sources told WKYX that a bail bondsman from Memphis came to the Fulton Police Department April 14th with a warrant for McKnight, but bondsmen have no authority to make arrests in Kentucky. Sources say the chief of police did not allow the warrant to be served. Records from Shelby County, Tennessee show that McKnight was arrested June 11, 2011 for DUI. He made bond 2 days later, but didn't show up for 2 court dates in November 2013 for charges of aggravated assault and reckless driving related to that incident. A warrant for those charges was issued on November 12th of last year, and another for failure to appear was issued on January 31st of this year. A week ago, those warrants were recalled, indicating that McKnight turned himself in or made arrangements after the bondsman left. His new court date is today. McKnight was hired full-time by the Fulton Police Department on September 12, 2012. Since then, he's been arrested twice for fourth-degree assault, which is a misdemeanor. When contacted yesterday for comment on whether background checks were done before McKnight was hired or to describe department policy, Fulton Police Chief Terry Powell would not comment. I'm Bill Hughes.
Mashana Backus lost her son Connor in 2010 when he was 2 years old after he was brutally abused by her then boyfriend. She was shocked at how Ronald Saunders used a plea to a lesser charge so he might escape a long-term sentence. But she's doing something about it. Bill Hughes reports.
Backus is working with local legislators to get Connor's Law passed in the Kentucky House of Representatives. Representative Gerald Watkins is a co-sponsor of Representative Stephen Rudy's bill.
This bill just makes it a tougher sentence to provide a little justice for instances where the death of a child is the end result of child abuse.
The change would not allow a defendant to do what Saunders did, plead guilty to second-degree manslaughter if physical abuse led to the child's death. Instead, the appropriate charge would be first-degree manslaughter. The more violent charge would require an inmate to serve at least 85% of their sentence before parole instead of just 20%. Here's Mashana Backus.
In the last 5 to 6 years, there have been over 250 cases in the state of Kentucky that have used this exact charge. And so I would like to change that so man 1 would be more fitting because it is considered a violent crime.
Backus is committed to something good coming from what happened to her son.
It has been extremely difficult, but I feel like this is something that needs to happen and that Kentucky needs to change.
I'm Bill Hughes.
McCracken County came up 1 run short of winning the Worth KHSAA Fast Pitch Softball State Tournament at Jack C. Fisher Park. Bill Hughes reports.
Scott County rallied from an early deficit to edge McCracken County 7-6 in the championship game Saturday. McCracken County had already beaten Scott County once. The Lady Mustangs scored 10 runs in the 4th inning on their way to an 11-1 5-inning victory, setting up the winner-take-all game. The team survived and advanced through the losers bracket in 4 games Saturday after playing 3 games Friday.
After the championship game, Activities Director Chris Garrett bragged on the team and reflected on the numerous academic and athletic accomplishments of the Consolidated School's first year.
They're the ones that have helped bring together a community and build a school and accomplish so much this year. All the credit in the world goes to our kids, and that's the kids that may or may not even play sports. That's the kids walking the halls of McCracken County. They're the ones that made McCracken County High School a success in general for this first year.
Jacqueline Roof was named to the Class 3A All-State team and was named Player of the Year. Audrey Dodd was named Second Team All-State, and the coaching staff was named Staff of the Year. I'm Bill Hughes.
A local restaurant and bar has closed. Bill Hughes reports.
Broadway City Pub at 3100 Broadway closed abruptly on Friday and is apparently not expected to reopen. The pub had advertised 2 bands performing over the weekend on their Facebook page, and regulars posted questions to that page wondering what happened. A reply from the pub owner said they were closed. Someone close to the situation told West Kentucky Star and WKYX that the owner allegedly took the chef's recipe book and claimed ownership to it, so the general manager and 2 servers quit, prompting the owner to close the business. When the owner, Paul Nielsen, was contacted this morning, he declined to comment. I'm Bill Hughes.
The contest between Jeff Hines and Bob Leeper for County Judge Executive took center stage at the Clemens Fine Arts Center of WKCTC last night. Bill Hughes was there.
Hines and Leeper answered questions from members of the media on a variety of subjects, including one that's been a hot topic lately, Paducah Power System. Even though the Judge Executive's office has no say on the matter, both men were asked their opinion on the utility's best way forward and if bankruptcy should be considered. Leeper said he thinks it's very important that the folks involved keep all options on the table, and whoever is elected will have to do whatever they can to help.
Support them in any way we can with information, listen to our constituents, forward that information on to them, and make sure that as a community we rally around that issue, because not all of those folks that are affected by this are just city residents.
Hines said he'd have to see the books, but recalled that Big Rivers Energy has gone through bankruptcy twice. He said bankruptcy is misunderstood by some people, and it wouldn't necessarily ruin the community, as some have feared.
Sometimes your credit's just too good, and apparently ours is real good because we can borrow $36 million against 3. I can tell you as a lawyer, I would look at the details, and if it looked like the best option, that's what I'd recommend they do.
I'm Bill Hughes.
The Internal Revenue Service recently repeated a warning about phone scammers who try to collect money or information from taxpayers. Bill Hughes reports.
2 identical calls with this message came to my house.
The reason of my call is to let you know regarding the lawsuit that has been filed against you by IRS.
The IRS and the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration have received about 90,000 complaints about the calls, with close to 1,100 victims losing a total of about $5 million to scammers. IRS spokesperson Jennifer Jenkins said that scammers use fake names and IRS badge numbers and create fake caller ID information. Jenkins said the caller usually has a foreign accent and is very aggressive.
The clear red flag should be that the caller, the IRS impersonator, is making threats over the phone and demanding immediate payment. This is not the way the IRS would do business.
Jenkins says the IRS almost always contacts taxpayers first by U.S. mail, so if you get a call like this, hang up, then call the IRS to report it. More details on this scam are available at the IRS website, and you can find a link at westkentuckystar.com. I'm Bill Hughes.
A recent radio ad paid for by the Kentucky House Democratic Caucus Campaign Committee has been pulled from 3 Bristol Broadcasting Company radio stations due to inaccurate information about Republican District 3 candidate Randy Bridges. Bill Hughes reports.
Bridges says he won't raise taxes, but he told the Courier-Journal in writing that putting up tolls on our local roads was his chief priority.
Bridges told the Greg Dunker Show on WKYX that portion of the ad twists his statements to paint an inaccurate picture of his policies.
I'm deeply disappointed in my opponent and his party because they have taken this completely out of context, and it's absolutely not true.
Bridges clearly told the paper his priority was new jobs and only mentioned tolls when asked how new bridges and roads should be funded. Democratic incumbent Gerald Watkins said tolls could be used too. Watkins responded to the ad with this comment.
I would just offer an apology to him, although I didn't know the ad was made. I didn't know it was even airing. I hadn't heard it. I didn't have anything to do with it. They need to go back and correct those inaccuracies if they're going to run any advertising.
Bristol Broadcasting General Manager Jamie Futrell said the committee will have to correct the ad or provide a new commercial. I'm Bill Hughes.
The final pieces of the piers that once supported the old Ledbetter Bridge are now gone. Bill Hughes reports.
2 controlled detonations about a second apart broke the bottom sections of the piers into pieces just after 2 p.m. Friday. Demolition crews used sonar equipment and a long-reach traco to verify that no large sections of the piers were intact underneath the surface of the river, and they believe their explosives did their job. Crews will begin plucking the pieces of concrete from the river today. I'm Bill Hughes.